going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing a different video for a change. I'm not going to be doing a custom minifigure showcase video review or analysis, but this time I'm deciding to start a series based on the progression for my upcoming mock that I am trying to bring to BrickFair, Virginia 2014, The Siege of PAU City. And obviously this mock is meant to represent the, iconic battle that was in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and it's going to be a pretty massive mock. It's actually going to be 3x3 with gray base plates, and it's going to be something that it's the largest mock I've ever attempted, for one, and I've only got 4.5 months left. Now, 4.5 months, that's a lot of time, especially to build a mock of this size, even of this size, and I can do it. But as some of you guys may be aware, the reason I want to do this series is I've been moving. You might notice the lighting is a little awkward, but that's simply because I'm in a condo, and we've been in this condo for the past month now, and we were in hotels for 2 weeks prior to that, and it's been really rough on me and the rest of my family, and financially too. And when it comes to building a mock of this scale, it's really not easy to make 4.5 months, in 4.5 months make a mock of this scale, and construct it to the best of my ability. And that's what I want to provide for you guys with the Siege of PAU City. All of my building skills brought into one big mock without any sort of pressure, any sort of rush while building it to degrade the quality of the final product. And that's why I want to make this series, to let you guys know that this mock may or may not make its initial release date of, BrickFair Virginia 2014. It may not make it. There is that possibility that, the idea of that has been lurking in the back of my head, that this mock may not make it to BrickFair Virginia 2014. And if it doesn't, these videos will still be going, so you know where it's at and where I'm at with its building process, so you know when it'll be done and how far it has come. And so far, I've been working on it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks or so with, the parts that I do have, and I've had a few orders come in, and I've tried to make as much progress as I can. But given that we were moving since December all the way up until about a month ago, all that time, we were not exactly in a house and we were moving. I couldn't really start on the mock when I wanted to, and it's kind of making a big problem in terms of now I've got a huge time constraint on my hands, and now because we are moving into a house, and actually on the release date of Captain America the Winter Soldier is when I'll be moving into the house with the rest of my family on April 3rd, and originally it was going to be February 6th, and then it turned into March 6th, and now it's April 3rd, and it might go from there. So if we're so tied up at this point to where we're going to be moving into a house financially, I know some of you guys really haven't moved a lot in your lives, but I've moved. This is the 10th time I've moved in my life, and moving sucks, especially when you're buying a house, because buying a house is a huge financial grip on anything you might be trying to do. So I am trying to build this mock to the best of my ability as quickly as I can. It's just, it may not make the release date of BrickFair Virginia 2014, because now with all of this going on and these financial restraints being put on me, I've decided that I might actually be aiming more for the end of the year and then bringing it to BrickFair of next year. I really don't want to say that or do that. I really don't. But worst case scenario, that might be the case. I'm doing my best, and I will do my best and continue to do my best to make sure this mock is finished on time. But if it's not, you'll have these videos, these updates on the Siege of PAU City, so you know what's going on and how the mock is going, because I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to it, and I don't want to disappoint you, and that's why I want to make sure you're seeing everything if I'm not able to bring it to BrickFair this year. So yeah, that's why you're going to be seeing, that's why I'm starting this series. It's for you guys, because I really would feel devastated to just not really keep you in the loop for the entire building process, and then at the last minute say, hey, I don't have enough time and I won't be able to make this to bring this to BrickFair. So that's why this series exists. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the progress that I have made for the Siege of PAU City and what the plans are. Okay, so I apologize for the lighting. I will try to do these videos during the day, but I really wanted to just do this now for some reason. So next update on the Siege of PAU City, and something I should also probably address is this is not going to be a consistent series of videos. It's just when I make a significant amount of progress like this that I will continue to do this series and post a video on what I have done. So I mean, it's not just going to be I'm going to lay down a few plates and then do a video. I'm going to get an order of parts and then I'm going to do a video. I'm not going to do that. I want to make significant progress on what I have planned to do, and then I will do, you know, an update video for you guys to see where I'm at. And that's how this is going to work. So, once again, putting aside the lighting here, to see what's going on here, I have the terrain started. The terrain, I already have a pretty massive chunk of the terrain going here. Almost a little over a quarter of the terrain is already done. Now, pretty much what's going on here with the mock is, if you guys remember in Revenge of the Sith, you probably saw... just briefly, you would have seen the clone troopers of the 212th Attack Battalion landing in front of PAU City and just initially running into the city to attack all the droids. And pretty much, you'll have two gunships, one here, and then the 212th troopers will be, you know, heading toward the main city. Now, where will the terrain be taking place, and how much space will the clones have? Well, some of the clones will already be, you know, at this point they will have already made their way into the city, which will be over here, which I'll give you a better look at in just a moment here. But pretty much the terrain, this entire area will be, you can already pretty much see it. It's already sectioned off. You can see it'll start here and then going all the way over there to that little corner. So you'll have this entire space will all just be terrain. Now, a little problem with the terrain is if you look at this picture here, the problem with that is you'll see that the terrain that was actually in the movie is flat, and also in this picture as well. So, I mean, you can tell the terrain is flat, but honestly, you can't make a mock with Lego look really highly detailed and well constructed if you just take plates and just lay them down. So that's why I decided that I'm going to have little mounds of sand like right here, a really detailed cliffside, you know, outlining the entire mock, and little areas like here, and you know, little indentations within the terrain here, things like that to make this look as best as it can be, and you know, also just using a lot of different techniques with the pieces that I have available to me, and that's one of the main things I'm going to be doing with the terrain. And there will be plenty of 212 troopers. The ones you see in the back there are all I have so far. That's only because I only have 3 of the new Untitled Trooper sets, and honestly, I don't really need them until the very last minute in July. The clone troopers can stay out of the picture for now themselves because I can get them last minute, and I already have all the droids ready to go. That's not really the problem here. The problem here is tan parts. Now, tan parts are much more expensive than gray parts in a lot of ways, and unfortunately, that's one of the biggest financial strains on me because, you know, the actual center area, the actual area, sorry for bumping the camera there, but back here, in this area, I know it's really makeshift where I have this mock going on, but I'm in a condo and this is the best I can do. The actual area back here with the actual PAU City will be consisting of a lot of different gray, you know, pieces that, you know, won't be in the terrain. The terrain will be all tan and dark tan, while the actual, you know, PAU City area will be consisting of not only tan and dark tan, but light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, blacks, browns, and all of the above colors to make sure it's as accurate as possible. Now, in terms of the actual PAU City area, back here, given that this is a 3x3 mock in terms of gray base plates, I will have about 4 buildings. You'll have a building here, and if you guys remember that one, you know, scene in Revenge of the Sith where you have a 212 trooper attacking a crab droid and just jumping on it and just shooting out its brains, that's where this area will be right here, that exact area. And then you have another scene in Revenge of the Sith where you see Obi-Wan briefly running down a street in PAU City, and you see an ATTE, and that ATTE will be right here, right where that organizer is, going straight down the middle, if I can fit it. If not, I'll just go ahead and put Grievous's wheel bike in that spot, and maybe even Boga if I can get my hands on one. And I really want to put an ATTE right here, but given that there's going to be a building here, and there's going to be a building here, along with a building here and a building here, it's kind of not really leaving a lot of room for an ATTE, therefore I might just go with the actual scene and replace that with the wheel bike and Obi-Wan And I mean, you know, they were only in the battle for like a split second. They ran through PAU City for like, it was only a few seconds that it took for them to run through the section that I'm building. But I mean, if that's the case, then I'll just use them rather than an ATTE. But yeah, so the entire MOC, the entire PAU City area, it will be completely encased with an entire rock wall. If you look at UTPOW, it's all, you know, one giant sinkhole, and that will be replicated right about at this point. Right here, you'll have the entire PAU City completely encased in one giant rock wall, and then it'll be completely, you know, like I said, covered in darkness, which I will then proceed to use life lights, if you guys are familiar with them, to light up the entire interior to make for a really cool effect. And not only that, but it'll make it look really accurate. And just generally, I have a good plan for this, and I know what I'm doing, even though I'm probably explaining it horribly. And that's why I wanted to do this mock, so that you know, that plan will, as I'm poorly describing it, will eventually unfold, and you'll see what I'm doing and what I've got planned for this mock. But yeah, so the terrain, like I already pointed out, it'll primarily look like this, and you can see this area right here. Pointing the camera down one more time and getting a closer look at that area, you'll notice that there is a, you know, a pretty heavily detailed rock wall that will be pretty much surrounding the entire edge of this mock. I even have all the space lined out for the side here. You can see it all ready to go, but I've pretty much run out of parts, and that's another thing. Right now I'm in no position to order more parts, probably until, you know, late this month. And that's one of the things that's kind of, you know, making me lack the confidence that this mock will be able to make it to BrickFair, given that we're in the middle of moving, and, you know, times are tough in terms of finances. But excuse me there. But I mean, yeah, so the entire mock will be outlined in a pretty much an entire rock cliff face that will be about 3 bricks wide, and that is the plan for the, you know, the outer rim area of the mock. But I mean, I'm trying to explain this as best I can. There is a map, you know, there are blueprints for what I'm going to be doing here, but they look pretty hilarious, and honestly, you guys would probably laugh if I were to even show them to you, but they're good for what I need, just for the, you know, it's just kind of like what I have designed for this mock in terms of its, like, plan. Is just kind of like a general, you know, idea sketch. It's really crappy, but it'll work, and that's why I'm not going to show it to you, because it's pretty hilarious. But regardless, that's pretty much it for the first update here, and you can tell the entire workspace that I have going on here is pretty makeshift. I mean, you've got a freaking couch right back there that you really haven't been able to see throughout this video, and it's just literally in the middle of our condo living space, and I've been fortunate enough to pretty much dominate this entire area to use for the Siege of PAU City and my recording studio and desk. So, I mean, I have the space to build, it's just I don't have the funds right now, or, you know, the necessary resources to continue at this point. But when I do continue, probably toward the end of this month, and once I do continue, that is when you'll probably see another one of these videos show up, and that's what I have planned at least. And I will do my best to keep this mock and its building process going, but if I can't, you guys know where I'm at, and that is why it is also a good thing to follow me on my extra channel, my vlog channel, and there I will be posting vlogs occasionally on the updates and statuses of this mock and where it's at again. But I mean, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for this pretty much first update for the Siege of PAU City. And once again, this series is only existing just so that you guys get to see the mock, even if it doesn't make it to BrickFair. But I mean, for that reason, guys, that is why I'm going to end it off on that note. And yeah, so that's it, and I'll catch you later. Alright.
Bye.
For the lighting in this 2x6, I don't know what I'm